We are recording. Hello and welcome back to Netrosis Modern. Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Last time the group went to a dungeon that appeared, and I finally, in my entire GMing career, got to use a mimic. That'll probably be the only mimic because I don't care for them. Because either I'm going to go too hard. Like, I feel like that was the exact level of dickery. Like, it looks like something that you need to get. You touch it, fight ensues. Okay. Like, I don't need to be like, now it's a coat and it's cold outside. You put the mimic on your body. I'm so tricksy.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah, so, or it's always just a chest, which you're like, that's fucking, and not even like a modern, like Foot Locker. It's just like literally an old time like fucking chest. You're like,
no one uses anymore.
There's right. It's like, here's this modern desk. Here's these modern jugs of water. Here's a fucking chest. That's obviously a mimic. Like, come on now. The mimic was actually the carpet you walked across to attack the chest. They learned some
friends
stuff.
we made along the way.
It was the friends we made along the way. The real mimic was the friends we made along the way.
You literally said what I was thinking.
Yep. They had some downtime. They made level 3. So Mujina is now a battlesmith. Callie was already the circle of animals or whatever.
Well, I had companionship of the beast. Now I'm specifically
because I think you get your subclass at well, you got that at 2. You get your subclass at 2 because you're like wizards.
Mosquito.
Vela is an armorer, and Azarin is the something.
Oh, but I gained more spells than I now
Back to the living blade.
Living weapon. Living weapon monk. There we go. Which is out of the Eberron expanded. I love monks so much. So many interesting subclasses. Unlike rogues, I don't know. I had a conversation with. I was talking to Sonny about him building a character for a game, and we're talking about like rogues are their subclasses are very specialized, which is really cool. They're not kind of random generic shot in the dark subclasses. Like they have the thing that they do, which I can respect, considering how kind of utilitarian or how utility rogues are in general. You know, they're good in combat. They got a lot of skills. They find traps, but so that was downtime. So a week later, Jaziel will call you all down to the basketball court / whatever. It's a gymnasium / he's got to utilize the space he has. Hold on, we gotta put this on now. Actually, I'm gonna get a drink of water first. I've been talking a lot for the past 2 hours. Now you know shit's serious.
Oh, here he comes.
I spent $45 on a fucking mask. I'm gonna get use out of it. Also, that I could play a stupid fucking Cobalt Ranger one time. Okay? He was awesome. And he kicked a whole lot of ass. Like that time I just totally wrecked that spider that captured me was the best. Yeah, so he'll bring you down. Say for breakfast, so there'll be like a buffet, like a little breakfast buffet thing set up. or you arrive, I guess, Azrin, since you don't live there for some reason.
I have family.
Oh, that's rude. For all the
Mine-
people that don't have family. Okay.
Me too. They tried to sell me to Draco.
Rub it in. Jerk.
I mean, my dad's dead, but I've got tons of other family.
I have family in the city.
Well, it's like my mom exists. She's just somewhere else.
At this point, she's just like, I'm never going to see them again.
She's like, my robots are my family.
Yeah. This is my mother. Flying cat exists.
So it could be said that your real family are the friends you made along the way. All right.
We're sorry.
All right, Tim.
I'm not. That was a good one. What are you talking about? As far
That's
as
gonna be a
my
reoccurring
kind of
joke.
stupid friend jokes, that's pretty top tier as far as they go. So yeah, he'll invite you down. Everybody will get some food or show up as breakfast is finishing. He will pull up his his projector thing on his on his podium, and so we got a mission. I'm not going to delve too deep into it because they can explain it better when we get there. But we're going to the capital city of a country that Calvin forgot to give a name to. I have the name of the place we're going, but not the fucking name of the country. I'm great at this. We're going to Drakenvale. It's about 1,000 miles away. They don't have a teleportation circle. Like I said, I'll let them explain, but we're all going, so road trip.
They don't have one that they know of.
No, part of it is so essentially at some point they were kind of chased out of their capital, and many years ago, and people are coming back to restore it. So they need people to help rebuild and restore the teleportation circle and other things, and so we are going to help.
Oh, so it's kind of a how you say habitat for sentient creatures kind of project. Because humanity is too much.
Yeah. Well, they're technically humanoids, so habitat for humanoids. One of the former presidents shows up. You're like, what the fuck? How do you? How are you here too? What the fuck? You need to, bro, retire like normal people. I don't remember what.
In this universe, Jimmy Carter's an elf. So he's just around.
Yes.
Still looks not a day over 25.
Right? No, he looks old. He looks his age, but he's still rocking it for humanity. So get what gear you're gonna need for the trip, but you don't have to bring everything. And meet me outside.
Thank you. I will prepare.
And then he will
Stands up, walks away.
go outside. So just like, okay, walks outside. He'll like turn off for the projector, put stuff away. What's everybody else? You're gonna go up to your rooms and grab your gear to go, and
Vela's going to slightly be perturbed by the projector and try to see if she can make sure that it stays in focus the entire time, because sometimes projectors go out of focus.
okay.
So Vela got distracted.
Yes, that's all she cared about the entire time, was like, that one letter in the very far corner does not seem accurate. It's not honed in correctly. I got to fix this.
It's more like a PowerPoint presentation than a
I was gonna say I want to
projector.
see if I notice this about Vela.
Okay.
I just go to my room and grab a couple extra things like my sling and my sickle just in case. So I have some minor ranged things because I don't know what kind of environment we're really going into.
I have no
and
idea.
I will choose to. I'm gonna craft an arcane curio.
Okay.
Which will be like a disc of antler that just has like a 7-point star carved into it, so I remember which one it is, and I'll fashion it into an earring.
Okay.
And then I will stop by Vela's room to see if she's there. Like, they may study
Probably
something.
not. She's
Okay,
probably.
I'll go back to the
Okay.
presentation. I'm gonna find Vela just to let them know that the little squeezy gem that alters your appearance will no longer work right now.
Okay.
I had to allocate that energy to a different one of my curios. So it would be better as we go.
I would do Tinker's tools for that, right?
For what?
For messing with
fix
the
the
projector.
Sure.
Okay, let's see if I'm doing this correctly. And what it that's Dex, right? Or is it intelligence?
Intelligence.
Okay.
I mean,
11's all around.
you like,
Didn't really help it, but didn't really harm it.
you like, yeah, you take it like you, okay, and like you put it, you're like, you
I
like
basically
take
took-
you like take the lens out. You're like, okay, and then you like,
Yeah, buff it out. Maybe that's what's
And
wrong
put
with it. Put it back
and
in.
then put it back in.
It's like, it didn't really help it.
But like everything's already shut down, so you're like, well, shit. Now I can't check to see if it works.
Yeah, maybe later. And then she'll go up to her room. Probably will encounter Callie on the way back. And she's like, I gotta grab my stuff. So she just walks past, like not even paying attention to the obvious hulking person in front of him or in front of her. And just go straight to her room and just start grabbing stuff. And doors open.
So it's as you go by that, I'm just gonna be like, the squeezy thing that makes you look different doesn't work anymore. Had to make this.
She's probably not even paying attention, so she has no idea.
That's cool.
She's
It'll
gonna
be
try that
hilarious when you're
random.
like, I know I'm gonna get through here. And just convinced you do look different.
Yeah,
It worked before.
I just gave myself a mole, and I'm completely different.
Glasses.
The Clark Kent.
I open my communication app.
Okay.
I am sending a message to my parental units
It's making my face sweaty. Okay. Just letting you know
saying
you're
that I
on
am
an adventure.
going on a trip outside
Okay.
the city.
Long ass ways outside the city.
Damn it. I have to refine that. I should have saved it, but that would require me forethought. Zerlin will say have a fun time. Brander will say, take care of yourself, and XBRF HK487317 will say kill some meat bags while you're out there.
Accurate.
Oh God, does that mean that parents' programming is derivative of Vance?
Might be.
No, they're probably my parents are first gen, so similar programming, not the same programming.
Okay.
From the same batch, even maybe.
They're just 150 years old.
Yes. Why not?
Sure. They're good at what they do. What they do is stuff. Kill their meat bags. Okay. Draziel will have like a little backpack. His little bag, and like a wheelie suitcase thing, and he's waiting outside with Azrin when each of you kind of slowly makes your way out, waiting way too fucking long for Vela to show up.
Vela finally added the wings to her little construct, and it's just now flying behind her. He said when we were ready, didn't say we had a time limit.
There are 2 types of artificers.
Are there though?
Bella's proud of herself.
Technically, there's 4 types of artificers.
There's
Actually,
only 2
5.
here.
5 if you count, the subclass in the Exploring Eberron book. Actually, I think there's more than 1 in there. Now I have to look because I'm Calvin. It's 2. It's 2 in there. So there's also a druid.
In this campaign, there are 2 types of artificers.
In this particular campaign, there are 2 types.
That Draziel's an artificer.
I did not know that. I didn't know
There
he
are
had a
3
class.
types of artificers.
The
I mean,
one
he did
who's
say
the
he made
de
the Artemis
facto
thing, so-
semi-leader.
The good ones, the bad ones, and Vela.
Good, the bad, and the Vela.
Wait a minute, that makes me the bad one. What?
Vela is definitely teetering into what territory?
There's your episode title though. The good, the bad, the Vela.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. He'll be waiting out there when Vela finally comes out.
I'm assuming it's like an hour later. Everyone's been waiting on me the entire time.
Like a street vendor came by. Everybody had some
Ice cream
tacos or
stuff.
something.
Oh, I should probably introduce the party to Sable. I'm no longer
you just
walking
missed the
anywhere.
Falafel.
I now have a bear. It's a big metal bear. Her name is Sable, and she is a sweet, sweet bear, and you're going to be best friends.
Azrin is literally crouched down, petting the bear when Bella comes out because Azrin is fascinated.
So cute. I turn to Vela as she comes in, and I'm like, "Do you think this is a height thing?"
Vela does not know.
I mean, at least Mujina is now at eye level.
Yeah.
Maybe even slightly above.
Vela has the cat with wings, but instead of legs, that you just see it's a smooth body at the moment, and it's just flying behind. It has no legs at the moment.
It's like a cat. It's like a cat egg with wings.
Yeah, for the moment. For the moment. Just wait till it lands, and you'll see a horrifying sight.
Interesting.
I'm guessing it has 8
Serpent
legs.
like dragons that just have wings are called, but I can't think of it.
It just slithers.
It
I probably think
hops. It
I
hops.
honestly think
It's
it's
just
adorable.
vertical and just hops.
It's like Larry the cucumber.
Yep.
But with wings. My lovely cheeseburger, my lovely cheeseburger. I wait for you, yeah, I wait for you. Oh,
Just thought of where's my hairbrush.
where that's my second one usually. All right, so everybody comes outside. All right, does everybody have everything? It's gonna be like 2 days of travel. So
Vela has all of her equipment.
We're traveling 1,000 miles in 2 days. Wow.
yeah. Well, 75 miles an hour times 8 hours is like 600 miles in an 8-hour period, and then it's like
Math.
Apparently, I spent too long with caravans in the woods. I've not realized how transportation technology has advanced.
What's a mile?
1.6 kilometers.
Yes, I'm
She's just
sorry. We
having-
use Den Haken measurements here, so it's all metric.
Vela's just like,
All right, so 1,600 kilometers in 2 days, I guess. Then I forgot. All right, and he will. Like at some point, he actually, because he still would have he would have never taken the punch, the number thing, and the sign. He's like, oh yeah, like he puts those inside.
I guess
locks
nobody else is showing up.
Oh, it's been 3 weeks.
he did get a couple people.
Yeah.
Tickets.
He will lock the door, walk over to a wall, and he'll actually slide up a panel that nobody else saw before, and he'll punch in a code and then slide it back down, and then you will see the building will start rumbling, and then the third floor becomes the second floor, becomes the first floor, and then it shrinks and then lifts up off of the ground as you see that there are like hover jets underneath it, and effectively transforms into like a really big like tractor trailer truck type thing.
Vela is fascinated and must learn this technology. She's going to start disassembling the building when she can.
I'd be
And
really
then-
primed to know how it's optimized.
Optimus Prime.
And then he'll like poke a thing and like stairs will come out, and then he'll climb up the stairs. And be like, all right, everybody get in.
Fucking.
So the building became the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Once everybody's in, he will close the door. He's like, first we gotta go pick up some supplies, and then we'll head out. So he, drives to somewhere else in town. We'll say the Bling Bling Bandits. After 20, 30 minutes, they put a bunch of cargo on into the back and then close it, and then you head out. Oh, at some point, there was a report of 2 actually severely burned bodies found in the river.
Guess we'll never know.
I wonder who they
I mean,
were.
Asrin was monitoring the reports for that.
Yeah.
Vela at some point reads this report and goes, I wonder who this is, making no connection to what actually happened.
You probably don't even remember those people existed to begin with.
Yeah. She was so focused on the fake diamond that she completely forgot about that.
That's so weird. Oh, that's
bodies
Man.
with murder.
man. Yeah, so then you'll head out on the highway, you get the motor running. He heads west,
East, yep.
west,
Classic Weast.
classic west. I saw a meme of that, and I was like, it was a thing before. Nice.
It's not just a thing we do. Okay.
Right. We're not that terrible. So you'll travel the first day. He'll drive. He's not even driving. He's just in a seat. It's like a super advanced. I mean, there's like a whole room, effectively, like a lounge. There's like the driver, quote unquote driver seat, the passenger seat, and then like a whole lounge with couches and whatnot. And he's just sitting in the driver's seat as it goes. As you travel. Shit, I forgot to. This is stuff that I meant to do more of prepping for the week, but then I didn't. So you go through the plains of Agler, by the dark woods, Dark Woods is where the Arak predominantly live. Like it's this like huge forest.
The Arak were the spider folk, right?
The spider folk, yeah.
Okay.
Past there, I don't have a whole huge map of my entire continent.
A lot of this just seemed like open space to you guys.
Just
None of it's rendered. It's just very
it's
Very-
right.
Low
smooth
poly.
textures.
It's like
Are we-
EverQuest. It's like EverQuest.
Are we?
A
Are
lot
we
of pop
in?
in.
Are we in the Animus? I feel like that section isn't rendering.
All
No,
of a
it's just-
sudden, there's a mandala on the floor.
no, it's like the wall. Like you can't go, and it's like you have to go this one path because you go too close, and like it's this weird shimmery wall appears. You're
No,
like,
Ashton got bored, and now there's a mandala on the floor.
Oh,
I was talking about in Assassin's Creed when you go places you're not supposed to go. Like it's like you
Mhm.
can't be here, and like there's the giant.
Quick turnaround before we get desynchronized.
Right. Yeah, so you travel a huge distance. The first day, he will park the building. At the end of the day, it will he'll park it and hit some buttons and it'll turn back into the building so that you can sleep in your rooms. Of course, he realizes that there's still not a cafeteria, so or a kitchen. So, yeah, it's a work in progress.
He'll be like, that's okay. I'll just activate my curio of sustenance.
You rest for the night. Get up the next morning and kind of repeat the same thing and turn to the truck, and then you'll also notice when you go in, all of the cargo that was in the bed of the truck is now in the gymnasium. Like you
I'm
see it
gonna
all
spend a few
stacked
minutes trying to
neatly.
draw up the logistics of how this, like how the shape would change to what it changes to, given the new information that the bed of the truck is actually the gymnasium. Guess I'll consult Vela for this. Creative minds.
probably a very bad idea.
It's a
Look,
very
if we're
good idea.
occupied with this, you're not gonna be spending time tearing shit apart.
I guarantee that is absolutely not what's happening. She's probably already tearing stuff apart when everyone.
I'm gonna need Sable just to babysit Vela.
She's like taking apart a TV.
What if we put like colored tablets around the premises in all the different areas, and then when it turns into a truck, you can see where they end up. Or put them on the truck, rather, the truck version, and then when it changes back, you can go on a scavenger hunt.
I'm writing notes on this.
Post-it notes.
It's those
Rare.
little stickers, the yard sale stickers.
Yeah,
Rear right panel.
yeah, I was gonna say you just go through the truck and on post-its write what the post-it is attached to figure out where it goes. Like
Just color-coded
dashboard,
tape.
right window. Wow, apparently the windscreen was the entire third floor west wall with windows.
Yeah, so the next day he'll transform it back into the truck, and then everybody will get back in and he'll start driving. You will probably like an hour or two into the second day, you'll cross, like it'll be a noticeable like border, like when you go from somebody whose landscaping is taken care of versus somebody who isn't. Effectively.
We're on the wrong side of
Little
the tracks now.
boxes on the hillside. Ah, untamed wilderness.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of overgrown. There would be what used to be, like probably toll areas that are decrepit now. Rest stops that are overgrown.
Crap, I could have made a curio of travel and gotten here quicker.
It's so bizarre. How are we going faster? It only increases at like 4 miles, right?
Yeah, it's you and up to 5 companions traveling an additional 5 miles a day.
What?
I think that would also depend on like what type of conveyance you're in.
I know. That's based on the old like normal D&D, which is like 24 miles a day or something like that.
So basically
Whichever-
what you're saying is you're gonna be giving Draziel a set of platform shoes so he can press the gas pedal harder?
But they're inscribed. You know?
No, they just had they're just a really nice pair of sneakers that have a whole rune sequence around them.
And they're triggered by pressure. So to make a step, it just activates the sequence. Because it does also specify if you're traveling for more than 4 hours. So clearly it needs kinetic charge.
Right. Yeah, so after the hold on, I'm doing math.
After the incident.
Going to like the 5th hour. Yeah. You will, so like midday, sun's starting to come up. You'll come over. It's a lot more mountainous here. Than where you had come from. So you come over, you'll down this road and come over this bridge, I guess. And you'll see down into a valley. You will see this kind of big. Let's see if I can pull it up because I have a picture of it. Just where is it? Ignore the name on this. Where am I? There we are. It's very heavily forested. But I mean, this is how it, this is if it looked nice. But you're coming from obviously the eastern side of the map.
So this is the old world map, but it's more overgrown than this in person.
Yeah, exactly. So it's because I'm not an artist, so I'm not drawing a fucking village freehand. And you'll see there's this one road that goes south. It'll go. I mean, you probably can't see it, but you will see maybe a couple miles from south of the village. There is like this. I don't have a picture of the actual castle. That didn't go as planned. But there's also an overgrown castle that does not look very good. So yeah, it'll take you maybe like 20 minutes once you go over the hill, and you'll come to the kind of downtown-ish area of the village. You'll see that there's a bunch of people, not a bunch, but there are people that are with there's a caravan. You see, I mean, Callie knows what a caravan looks like. This was obviously a caravan at one point that brought a ton of supplies. There's piles and piles of different supplies all over the place, and the carts are all set up in different places. And
Does this look ancient or recent?
It's the architecture. I mean,
Like, essentially, is it part of the overgrown village, or does it look like somebody that came through and then something happened?
what do you mean? Sorry, I
Because
guess
you said the caravan carts and stuff were like overturned and whatnot.
no. They're not overturned.
They're part of the
They're-
rebuild effort.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the buildings do look older, but I mean, where we live, there are buildings that are 150 years old that people live in. Like,
I grew up in one.
right. I think this house is like 1860s, 70s or something. I don't remember what Jess was saying about it, but like, so. Draziel will find a big plot of land near kind of the efforts and park the building, which is the funniest saying ever.
Just look for an open field and put up a whole ass.
I'm just gonna park the guild hall. Yeah, he'll have you all get out, and then he'll do the stuff and transform it back into the normal building. Yeah, I wanted you to have your stuff so that if you needed, your gear while we were on the road, you would have it. Because obviously it takes a while to transform back into the building. So.
Roll initiative. Wait 25 rounds to go collect gear.
Yeah, right. Start punching things, which one of you would be fine, but everybody else is like, how do you do this? It'd be like my
Well, I at
monk,
least have my curios on me all the time.
Right.
Anyway, so.
be like my kobold monk in Sonny's game, who was like trying to teach the bard who had like a fucking 8 strength, like how to punch, because he like would try to punch monsters and would do no damage because it's strength plus your strength modifier, or it's 1 plus your strength modifier. Because he has a -1 modifier, he's doing 0 damage.
He's just
So-
hysterically slapping people.
Yeah. And so Trifle was like, no, you need to punch through. You're punching at. You gotta punch through. You gotta put force.
Like, and behind him.
Like rotate your hips to get the extra. Like, that game's fun. While it's transforming at some point,
I have one question for you.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Where did the mandala end up in the building?
You don't know.
There's like a slice of it here. So,
I wonder if we could find a way to keep a person inside the building while it's shifting.
That would be less than ideal.
Yeah, we vote Vela.
Bella wants to know. Maybe this is how it works.
But what'll be cool is if the mandala is like spread out in pieces, and then you go in the building and then fill in all of the in-between. So now it's like a transforming art piece that makes sense both ways.
That may end up happening.
That would be pretty cool. That's on you. I'm not that creative.
That's just
Yeah,
kind of
well-
the idea to have Callie like start doing tattoo art on like stretched pieces of leather to just like hang up.
So no post-it notes.
I'm just saying, colorful tape might work.
Since we're in like a completely new area, also, probably while the house is transforming, is this like temperate forest or is it jungle? Like we're
Probably-
more of a tropical or a temperate climate zone.
Temperate, because this continent is supposed to be more based on Europe.
Okay, so I will spend 10 minutes conducting a ritual to summon a like charcoal colored fox familiar.
Okay.
Because it can help me like with scoping out the area and stuff.
Sure.
It's essentially, I'll post it actually. It's the find familiar spell. I get it free once a day without components. I have no idea what a fox's stats are, but it will also have an intelligence of 10 because I'm casting.
Okay. Well, technically how the familiar works is it takes a form, so it's not an actual animal from that area. It's essentially, like it says, it's a spirit that takes on the animal form.
Yeah, and it would be a fey spirit. I forgot to specify also. Yeah, I just figured a fox shape would be useful in this environment. I was gonna go with like a serpent if it was jungle or something. Because
Right.
Trees and shit.
But like, I'm just, it's more pointing out the fact that it's different from like summon animal or,
yeah,
you know,
it does say the
conjure
familiar
animal.
has the statistics of the chosen form.
Yeah. But it's just not like a fox. It's not like a companion that you're summoning from the woods. It's, you know, you cast a
Yeah.
spell and the familiar kind of boop,
Yeah.
Well, you know, he could end up with a pipe fox.
pipe fox.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're more like ermines.
Whatever it is, I'm going to be paying attention to
kitsune.
it. It is a very good pet.
I mean, essentially, it is a kitsune.
Well, that's adorable. But yeah, about
And I think
6
it stays.
4'2", bronze dragonborn will walk over to you, to the group, be like, you must be, and he'll look up where like literally as he's saying that, it's like tuk, 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 and like outside the box appears on the building. It's like, never mind. Welcome to the village of Drakenvale. Because I'm not going to have a conversation with myself, because as much fun as that is, we'll say that Drazi will be like, I didn't tell him that much. You know, I figured I'd wait for you to give him all the information. And then Drazi will go inside to Draziel. Yeah. The Dragonborn will introduce it. My name is Reginald Traskier. I'm the leader of this group. If anybody, except for Vela, wants to roll history, they can.
I think because it takes a while as a ritual, I'm probably engaged in my find familiar spell while this
Sure.
conversation is
So
happening.
if you don't want to roll,
So,
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, I would, but
Both of you will know about this country that apparently time forgot the name of. That's what I'm going with. We'll say that it was. He
Would
will
Vela
explain.
somehow know?
No. A long time ago, we were a proud country, and then the desecration hit, and us, like many other countries across the world, were busy with fighting off the undead. It seemed like we weren't dealing with it as much as others. I know that there are other countries that were toppled entirely. Um, and part of this is stuff that you would already know, that this country is a draconic country. Dragonborn, kobolds, half dragons. You know, they have pet drakes. Like it's very much an entire country of dragon folk, effectively, of some kind. Much like, you know, the Arak have their huge forests, it's like all their spiders and the moose stoles, and the northern oasis was once the northern oasis of Flantar, I think is what I called it, was where the Odonta eventually settled. Like
Up at that hot North Pole.
yeah, that's why there are elephants in the North Pole. But you will especially Falcon, Curtis, you know the basic stuff, that at some point something happened and the country fell to ruin. You don't know why, you don't remember why. Falcon will know that essentially the leader of the country, I guess this is more of a history of, it was found out that the desecration was caused by a powerful necromancer but like you've heard rumors of it, obviously you've never seen it, but there's apparently because of the equator of the planet is actually like this giant ice wall, like this mountainous ice wall. And apparently there is a island somewhere in that ice wall that exists somehow. And from the legends that you've heard is that the necromancer that lived there was the cause of the desecration, essentially sacrificed like countless lives and souls to power their magical devices that caused the desecration, thus opening all of the portals to the realm of the dead. And heroes from across the planet, you know, were helped turn the tide eventually and close the portals, and then were able to, there was many plots and schemes, and eventually the necromancer was killed. The leader of this country, in their pride, made a deal with that necromancer. And so but the country kind of fell to ruin once the necromancer was killed, like ousted and killed.
Sorry, what was the city's name again?
The one that you're in?
Yes.
Drakenvale.
Okay.
It
It just became extremely plot relevant for something like it.
noted. And so the family, like it was like a royal-ish family that was in charge of it. That's the castle. The castle is where which is now, you know, in ruins, is where the noble family, they made the deal with the necromancer, and so they were kind of wiped out by the heroes. You've heard rumor, I mean, there's rumors of all of them were wiped out. There's other rumors of like one of them survived, or you know, it's many different rumors. And so because of that, pretty much the majority,
It's kind of an Anastasia situation.
yeah, but except all of the other countries found out about the deal, and so kind of attacked the country. And even though the majority of the people like weren't part of it, but so like that's why like the castle is now in ruins, and this village is, you know, kind of decimated, and why it's been obviously neglected for the longest time. So he'll kind of go over that explanation. Like, you know, a little bit more than what he tells you. Like, he's just kind of the basic stuff. And
I might know things because someone has some very alliterative things about Draco-shaped meat bags.
that's true. Yeah, he
Mhm.
might have been there.
He might have been there.
Yeah.
Or it might have been there.
It might have been. Yeah,
I just noticed the reason. I just noticed that Falcon had a nat 20 on the history check, and I'm like, oh, that's why it's like national history.
Right? Yeah.
And then the Great War happened, and then in 1825.
That's
Falcon
bizarre.
does not have history. As the Azran does not actually have history.
Oh, I forgot to point out. Yeah, Falcon rolled a nat 20 on their history check.
Walk it through, and that particular foundation stone came from the quarry.
That's architecture. That's architecture. Stop. No, that's different.
Well, it's only that one stone that they know about, though, because there's a huge record about it.
Oh, okay. That it's like a statue. They're like that statue.
It was a big
actually,
journey. It was such a huge block, and there was all this writing about how they moved it here.
It actually belongs in a museum.
I mean, 45 people died just hauling it across the land.
Right. So
Most of them crushed. No.
Reginald will say that my family, we used to live here. We were about 50 years ago. We were finally kind of pushed out. And it's taken us some time, and a lot of sorry, I know I'm switching voices, but it's kind of trying to keep track of everything I've told you versus everything I want to tell you. Well, he'll say it's like essentially most of the continent has already written our country off, seeing us all as traitors because of the decisions of our leadership, which is why we asked Draziel for help as a fellow dragonkin. We hoped that he would help us. He doesn't have he's less biased, unlike Draco International. They have their reputation. So we needed help from somebody to oversee, part of the reconstruction efforts of our fair city of Drakenvale. And so that is why you were here. Most of you, the hope is that you don't have a bias against us. Once again, we had no choice in the matter. It was our leadership that decided to make the pact, not a pact. It wasn't a pact, not in the like warlock sense or sell your soul pact. Like it's degree.
A less than beneficial accord.
And there's and actually, I think. See, I had all this in my head and then I forgot to write it down. At some point, there was an actual accord that was put into effect. So most countries don't actually have militaries anymore. Like they have small like militias, but kind of the prevalence of adventuring guilds has kind of overtaken that because of it wasn't the military that stopped all of the schemes and plots of the necromancer that happened after the Desecration War ended. It was adventurers, and so it's kind of they gained renown and thus were able to start guilds that kind of became more powerful than most militaries anyway. And so most countries decided to stop. So most guilds try to work in the best interest of the city or country that they're in, or the good of the continent, or whatever. It's politics.
The necromancer was taken down by a ragtag group of adventurers led by an Hercule artificer.
Right. The most obnoxious Teldaroom.
Right.
Bard. The fact that he's still like, I pointed out to him, I was like, he has I think a 10 charisma. I was like, if you only ever point all your points into charisma, you will have a 20 by level 20 or by 19, which actually somehow is the most awesome character
Arc.
growth.
Yeah.
Because he's going from like a super uncharismatic bard to a level 20 bard with a 20 charisma. over time and grow. So, which kind of built in the whole like background versus class thing the best, because like this is what I did, and then I just picked up a sword and started fighting, and now I'm a fighter. Like, but
yeah, because he essentially started as a manufacturing robot and then became sentient.
So because most countries don't have militias, and our people saw us as the bad guys, we were pushed out, and we were finally able to gather enough resources and people to come back to try to restore our capital in the hopes of building back up to what we once were. And so that is why we have requested the help of Outside the Box.
Some point during this conversation, Callie will wander over to join the group with my tatty looking red hair, HARE, sitting on my shoulder, and like a charcoal and amber colored fox is following me.
Okay. I would love to give you more of a tour, but there's not much yet. We only arrived a couple days ago ourselves. And unfortunately, we already have a task that we need you to fulfill. There's a couple things. I mean, I know that Draziel is a handy craftsman. I know that at least two of you have some proficiency in crafting, which will be useful. However, there's a couple pressing matters. On our way here, we were ambushed by a group of bandits, and what was who was able to escape the ambush. We don't know what happened to the rest of us. We assume they were captured. We're hoping that they were just captured and that you will be able to rescue them. But we're assuming the worst. But if these bandits are here, we do not have the strength. We are craftsmen and citizens and merchants and weavers, and we are not trained fighters of any means. And so unfortunately, I would love to give you more downtime to kind of settle in, but we need you to go do this for us immediately, because if they are alive, the longer we wait, the less likely they are to survive. I'm hoping that maybe they captured us. Who is not here was captured and is going to be sold, and thus they are still alive and can be rescued.
How many of your people are missing?
26.
Ooh.
It was a sizable group of bandits.
And of the missing people, Dragonkin? Was it sort of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Dragonkin. That's what it's kind of the umbrella term for, like. I mean, Dragonkin is probably its own race. It's in some
Probably,
setting.
but I'm meaning like half dragons, balls, half dragonborn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm using Dragonkin as the umbrella term for the dragon humanoid races. He'll pull out a map, that's like you saw. There's that main, kind of road that goes through the center, of town. He'll say it's from they came from the west, about 15, 20 miles. I don't remember exactly, because we were kind of in a rush when it happened, so it's hard to tell how much distance you traveled in a rush. About 15 to 20 miles. There should be a horn going off.
Oh no, it's the war.
Oh no. Condor calls for aid.
Fucking Vela calls for aid.
You should be able to find what carts we were left behind, and we tried fighting. Who could fight tried fighting, but we mostly just ran.
But
So
it's likely that the site of the ambush will be fairly
Yeah.
obvious.
The main priority is to character. He doesn't have a consistent fucking voice. The main objective is to recover anybody you can, but if they're that close to us, they are going to be a problem at some point in the future. So if you could take care of that problem as well. That would be appreciated. I mean, it's one of the things we would need you to do anyway. So it's just unfortunate that they also captured some of us. So it's kind of a twofold mission to rescue any captives that they have and wipe out as many of them as you can, so that they are less of a problem for us in the future.
Yes, I'm sure we will find as many as we can, and we'll bring them back to you. Kelly says, all super chipper about it, like confident.
Right.
So I'm probably not the best one to set it up. Maybe Raziel can help you sort of set up a better defensive posture here as well. So you get the zone of safety, then you can build up from that.
Yes, I was going to discuss with Draziel after this. It's just, you're under my employ.
Mhm.
So he is technically your guild leader, but he is also under my employ currently. So I am in charge of you. While he would be valuable out in the field, he is more valuable here.
Yeah, that's what because I think Kelly would think of that just because of growing up on traveling caravans. Like, the best way to set up where the center of your stuff is, and then make it defensible just in case.
Right. Yeah, circling the wagons, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to get back, but that is your current orders. Take what you need. We have some. If you need to eat, we have some, stored food. This is my first time being in charge of something like this, so I don't have the put hands in and huzzah. I don't know.
We should probably at least grab a couple of
Thank you
rations each.
for your
We don't know how
time
long
and
it's going to take.
explaining things.
Thank you. Sorry, what were you saying, Salem?
Where he offered food, I'd say just in case something goes haywire wrong, we don't really know exactly how long we're going to be. We should probably at least grab a couple of rations each.
Sure. Yeah. There's once again, this is Calvin being very ignorant of 99% of the world's culture. They have food. I don't know what kind. I don't want to, put
anything dry, easy to carry. I'll eat some if there's fruit or whatever now.
Yeah, they probably have, probably dried fruits, apples, and
because they're also coming here to reclaim the place, so I imagine they would have brought a decent amount of supplies.
Yeah. Plenty of dried meat and salted meats and
those would be perfect.
I mean, it's fairly modern. They might even have some packages of basically MREs.
It's also true. And coolers.
Like
They probably have fridges. There's like, but it's more like fridge boxes or box trucks.
It's an SGM. It's a standard guild meal, like the
Right.
I'll bring it back.
I mean, MREs just makes sense too. I mean,
Meals ready to eat.
yeah. Okay, guys, we'll spend a little bit of time. I mean, I'm going to wait for him to get back before I introduce another thing, and then. Guys, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Well, he's gone anyway. Hurry up, Sam. There's shit to do. So besides getting food, was there anything that anybody wanted to do before they headed, well, before the next thing and before heading out?
The only thing Azrin would probably have stepped up and said if there was any colors or anything noticed about the bandits before they were running.
That's a good question. Not really. I assume that they're the only bandits operating in this area. Especially of the size that attacked us. It's probably there's probably not, many different bandit camps. It's probably just the one large group to contend with. So I don't think you have to worry about running into, the purple bandits, and they're not the bandits that started it. It's the orange bandits or the sticky finger bandits.
Oh, the bling bling bandits.
Hey now.
I'm gonna take just a moment and do something that I, as a player, completely forgot to do, and just arrange with Draziel and offer to set up Sable to record combat data and report it back to him.
Okay.
With the understanding that I also gain access to that said data.
Sure.
Yep.
Salem disappeared. He's a ghost. Woo. God damn it, Salem, hurry up. We got shit to do.
Bonjour.
So yeah, Drazi will come out and you'll start talking to him about that, and he'll be like, actually, I mean, I could give you the combat data, but I mean, Sable could do it, but so there's a thing I built.
Callie holds Vela back. Preemptively.
Vela is immediately deconstructing it with her eyes.
It hasn't come out yet. All right. Also, it's not a piece of machinery, okay? It's not an object. Rude. I would say everybody else, Callie, Mujina, and Vela will you'll see this. To you, it looks like another Teldarum walks out of the building. Azrin, it's a little unsettling for you because you have seen Teldarum that have been built that like with the intent of being Teldarum. You've seen them, their bodies before the spark happened and they gained sentience. You've seen living Teldarum. You probably have never seen a dead Teldarum before. So it's slightly unsettling for you because this, to you, seems like their core isn't glowing the same way living Teldarum's cores glow.
What is this abomination? It is literally Error 404 is literally going
Right.
through
Over 2 in her
Azrin's.
binary code now.
So this is, they go by Max. The frame, as it were, used to be a friend of mine who effectively
Undead one.
wanted to volunteer their frame to the cause when they unfortunately met their demise. They didn't want to be brought back to life, which is already a very complicated situation with Teldarum anyway. Unfortunately, they passed away. And they let me keep their frame. And I have repurposed it into Max.
Callie finds this fascinating. Like I'm gonna kind of take a second closer look. I'm not like getting up in their face or anything, but just getting closer and kind of.
Azrin, for once, seems visibly uncomfortable.
It's fair. The frame is, I mean, it's 5'11", doesn't look super remarkable as, a nice metallic, it's solid looking frame. I mean, because they decide their gender, so it's not like it looks male or female. They don't really have a gender specifically.
Unless armor bits from, were swapped out.
Yeah, but that would be more of a conscious choice,
Mhm.
as generally as they're built. It's not because Teldarum they associate themselves with a gender sometimes, but they don't, like, not in the same way that
But
like
the parents wouldn't assign one to the offspring.
right, and so they would make it kind of like an agender frame almost with whatever they had, but it wouldn't necessarily have it wouldn't be colored blue or pink or whatever. Like, it's giving them 100% freedom to be the Teldarum that whatever they want to become. So it has the very basic kind of neutral frame, has the steel kind of almost pseudo plates up its body, with wood in certain places. It's got its core is actually black. Hello, I am Max. It stands for, because if you thought that this wasn't going to be an acronym, you're a fucking idiot. Magitronic Adventuring Xenomorph. I was designed for the sole purpose of adventuring to gain data for the different styles of combat and abilities that adventurers have so that I could become the perfect adventurer.
I'll lean over to Callie a little bit. Callie, does that sound like we're on the long slate to be replaced?
I mean, not necessarily. That might have been his first plan before recruitment. Also, xenomorph. I wonder if it can turn into like alien shapes. Do you think it transforms? I'm sorry, I'm being rude.
Look, if the house can transform, I'm not willing to put anything past Draziel.
Is this true? What? Vraiment, mon ami.
I have decided
Max, what is your programming directive?
to acquire as much data of monsters and adventurers so that I know what to become so I could fight it the best. What to become to fight what I will encounter.
It's an early version of the killbots from Futurama.
I don't watch Futurama.
I was thinking
so-
like a rudimentary like Pokedex for me.
If I know what we are going up against, I can turn myself into something that would better counter what we are about to fight.
Intéressant. Nice.
If being a evocation fire wizard would be ideal against some kind of monsters, then becoming that, although I do not have that in my data. Or being, if it was a stealth mission, being deceptive, although I do not currently have that in my data. But those are some examples of things that hopefully in the future I will be able to become.
So do you currently have capacity to channel divine or arcane energies?
My current capabilities are more martial.
Okay.
I can also, I take data that has been gained from Draziel and his network to become what other people were or are. If somebody had a crafting background and a martial training and were, let's say, a dragonborn, I could become a dragonborn fighter who was trained in craftsmanship.
That sounds useful in this current status. Yes. Azrin, even as speaking, is definitely uneasy
Yeah.
about this dead telodrome.
Yeah, for a second, I had that. I'm like, is Falcon forgetting the word they want to use, or is this actually just? I was like, screw it. It's just Azrin being like,
Azrin is having to work through a ton of error 404s.
Right? Are there any more questions?
I'm just also getting a kick out of essentially an android experiencing the uncanny valley effect.
That's true. Yeah. Like, oh. Why am I like this is a whole new feeling. You're like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't know why.
You suddenly understand why human or other humanoids freak out over undead.
Right. Ooh.
To
Oh.
Azrin, this is basically an undead walking
Yeah.
around.
Good times, good times. Callie's mentally like, so if I could get Max to craft curios, I could then attune to them and have twice as many.
Were there any more questions?
I think that covers it for me. I think we should probably, get ready to head out because the sooner we get on top of this, the better chances we have of a good outcome.
Agreed.
Callie will sling his explorer pack and pin his hair up into a complicated bun, double check his makeup, and be on the way.
I do not have any leadership protocols, so I follow. If combat should initiate, I will do what I can. But first, and then it will, like its body will start changing shape, and it will suddenly look like an orc.
I'm gonna take a look at Azrin, and I'm just gonna send Sable over, and Sable's just gonna like tap on shoulder and then like offer a hug.
Azrin literally hugs your. We will lean down and hug.
Vela's gonna look over at Callie. Does that have the shape-changing jelly thing too?
Changing jelly?
Like the multiple.
Oh, from like the dungeon?
Yeah.
I was thrown off for a second because Mech's shoulder is like maybe an inch wider, and that's exactly the silhouette my father had. Certainly drifting into more of a Quebecois, but okay.
Well, it's you, so you are consistently
I've been listening to
inconsistent.
too much blood and syrup, so I'm stuck in like Canadian French now.
You are consistently inconsistent.
Hey, it's all French at least.
Yeah.
Whether it's Parisian, Creole, Quebecois, but yeah, vaguely French.
Your Russian stays Russian generally.
It does. I'm good with that one. My German even wanders lately, but you know.
Been watching Orange is the New Black, and every time Red's on the screen, I'm like, oh, I miss Salem.
But yeah, Callie will, other than being like, wow, that's weird. That looks like my dad. Yeah, he's swinging his stuff, sending the fox. The fox I'm going to have just scout around.
Okay.
Basically to try to be like an early warning system if there's bandits in the woods or something.
Okay.
And Osram is just like sitting on my shoulder, whispering things in my ear. And like anytime we pass by small animals, I will also basically ask if they've seen anything. Because just sort of passively, I'm not using them as like the scouting spell thing that I can do, but I can just talk to them generally. Osram taught me how to talk to small creatures, so they understand me. And I speak Sylvan now. So.
I'm just kidding. But
You see Callie look at Osram like, quit playing and fucking be useful.
hey, you're a bitch.
No, we've been over this. It's pronounced witch. With the sub witch.
That's it.
I gotta slap him and he just turns into like red smoke and reforms on my feet or something. I apologize. War a bitch.
I'll give the DM inspiration. Give inspiration to Max.
I was just about to say, yep.
Yeah,
Max gets
yeah.
inspiration. Okay. So you'll head out. Your fox will run around doing its fox thing. What was Osram looking like?
Osram is a red-toned hare with like one tatty ear.
Okay.
So it looks like a big rabbit, basically.
And what were you having them do again?
Essentially, they're just kind of pointing out when there's animals nearby and helping me with like communicating.
Oh, okay.
Because they can only interact with me, really. Because that's how
Right.
language's familiar bond works.
Right.
Or otherworldly
okay.
companion, rather.
Yeah, you guys will. So you will. Max will follow you, and you'll head out. Conveniently, somebody has a travel thing, so.
Oh, yes. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll craft it on the way.
I thought you already had one.
No, I was saying I could have made one. I noticed it afterwards. I have
Oh.
arcane many spells and cantrips currently prepped.
Oh, okay.
Because I want as many spells as possible available.
Yeah, we could say you were doing that. I'll allow the you'll get 4 hours of travel, so you'll get the additional before it starts getting dark.
Okay.
Because it is, I think if I remember correctly, it was like May, so it's the sun's going down probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'll use yeah, so I'll craft the travel curio, and while that's active, my arcane curio will be deactivated.
Okay. Yes,
That
you
just
get
contains a single second of the spell, so.
4 hours, so that's 12 normally, plus an additional how
Plus
many? Plus
Plus
5.
five.
Okay. So you'll all right, so we'll say it'll be coming to the nighttime. You're thinking that it's close to time to maybe you guys should start setting up camp when you actually come to the area where they were ambushed. It is obvious. It is pretty obvious that something occurred here. Like you're assuming that this is where the ambush occurred. I guess I should say that this is where it occurred. You assume that this is where it occurred because there's some blood on the ground, like a lot of before this area. It's definitely the like one cart at a time type of tracks, but then like all hell broke loose, and so there's like trees, like smaller trees that were kind of trampled over and snapped in half, and
Probably some like scooped out ruts from maybe an overturning cart or something.
yeah. There is a couple carts that are overturned. They don't have any equipment in them.
That's okay. We can probably use them if we can get them to work again.
I was gonna say we could
On
at
our
least
way
have
out.
Max sort of mark the location so they can recover their equipment, if nothing else, like the carts themselves. We should probably take a quick look around, do an investigation. I would suggest make sure there's nothing immediately threatening in the area. I'll have my familiar
Yep.
kind of pace out because they can go 100 feet away from
I mean,
me.
it's
And then I would
there-
suggest like a short rest here.
there is. It's not. It is quiet, but not in the. Like there's a major predator in the area. Quiet.
It's
It's
not
just, like-
forebodingly silent. It's just the way.
Yeah. Yeah, like you hear like some chirps like in the distance. There's some sounds and whatnot, but it's not eerily quiet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'll send my familiar up the road a little in the direction we're headed.
I think they can only go like 100 feet.
It is, but if there's like a bend or something, and because I can use their senses.
Okay.
So I'll just spend a round taking a quick look and listen.
Okay. For what?
Just to, I'll look, see if there's like additional tracks going somewhere, kind of range around looking for evidence, but in a way that I myself am not getting ambushed.
That's fair.
Cursory.
Sure. You can roll an investigation, but it would be as your familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Apparently it's proficient in investigation.
I'm not.
Oh no, they just have
I just have a +4 for my intelligence.
no. You have to use their intelligence.
Oh, so
That's what I was saying. If
I make
you're
12.
familiar. Yeah. Was anybody else doing it as well? Like, was anybody else going to search around or?
Yes. I am going to search
That's
around.
what we're doing.
Well, I mean, this is where the ambush occurred.
Of course.
Probably want to find out what direction that people were dragged.
Vela's going to look for anything like money that's strewn about, jewels, anything along that lines, anything of monetary value.
Okay.
Vela is like a magpie picking up his corpse.
All right. So you send Callie. You send your familiar off a little bit to look. It doesn't really have any luck. Ember.
Yep.
Okay. Ember. Goes. Like 90 feet down the road. Is looking around, staying within that range. Doesn't really find anything. Because this, like, maybe this is where the ambush started, and so it's kind of hard to tell. Mugina, like, you're investigating the carts, but you don't really see anything. Vela, you find like empty cases, like jewelry boxes without jewelry in them, stuff like that. You don't find any just money lying around. But Ashen, you'll look around. You're assessing like the whole thing, and you're like, okay, so they were coming from here, heading this direction. They were ambushed. Like most of the snapped branches and trampled grass and disrupted whatevers. You're like, okay, all of that tracks with the direction. But then you'll notice that there's some blood that like they tried covering up towards the north. There is some like a branch or two here that was snapped. Blood, like droplets of blood. We'll say like a small doll, like just this like little stuff that because you kind of know how to look, that you're able to figure out that you think that they dragged them north, essentially.
Azrin just stands there, staring at the doll.
It doesn't come to life.
No, it's just Azrin's having issues.
That's fair. It's existential crisis type of day. I got you. Are you a fucking room too? I don't know what to use anymore.
I'll tell Ember to just patrol close by and come back to my senses and look around. Like I don't know if I notice that.
Yeah, I'll say
it's
because
just like frozen.
because you kind of started it, and so you're like, yeah, and then you're like, all right. Like everybody else is, they're looking at specific things, and they weren't able to really find anything, so they're still kind of looking, and you're like, okay, the fuck is that? Like, yeah, Azrin is just like.
So I go over to Azrin and just kind of gently set my hand on their shoulder as I bring myself into their peripheral. Like, are you all right? Did you find something?
They went north. Pointed all.
Just strikes me as like a sad scene. Like, oh,
I just think of that like that
I'll
doll.
pick the
from
doll up
Mulan.
and
Yeah,
tuck it in my.
that wasn't my initial intent. It's just I was like, what something that would be dropped.
Mhm.
You know, I was like,
I'll
a
pick it
doll.
up. I'll pick it up and tuck it in my satchel, in case I find the owner of it.
Okay.
I guess since Azrin is having crisis, I'd be like, it looks like they went this way. Azrin found the side trail with blood and such.
Yeah, like now that it's kind of been pointed out, like it's a lot easier. Like, okay, this is obviously because there's a difference between like one or two people walking on a path on occasion to wear it down, whereas you're like, even if this wasn't the normal route that they take, like there's a bunch of people traveling with a bunch more other people that they're, theoretically dragging or carrying or whatever. So it is a lot more noticeable once it's kind of pointed out that stuff like that. Max just is standing there. Like, dude.
Like there's nothing to fight. I don't need to target it.
So we go north. I like that. Drop your weapons. You have 15 seconds to comply.
14.
12, 11, 10. And everything sounds like the robots from RoboCop 2.
Better
All
than
right,
the
so-
Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell.
But it is getting about that time that to keep going, you would have to start rolling exhaustion against exhaustion.
I need an
So-
hour to reactivate my arcane curio anyway. I think.
So
We find a spot to bed down before we go after them.
yeah,
Probably
if you
pull
roll-
these carts into a defensive shape. Use it
that's
as
a good idea. Somebody, whoever, so you can roll survival to try to see if you can kind of identify a place that would be good, and if somebody wants to assist them, they, I'm not gonna have like 15 million different fucking people.
I'm
Either everybody rolls separately,
Yeah,
and
I'm
you're all
camp-
just fucking looking around, or
I'm really,
or
really
you'll-
good with the camping thing. Does somebody want to help me scout out the little spot around here where we can create a defensible campsite? I'm usually pretty good at it. As in somebody assisting me. Meta-wise, I have a +5.
Better than me.
I could assist.
Thank you, Mix. I assume that's giving me advantage, or is
Yeah.
Okay. So 13. Still not great.
Yeah. You'll find. I mean, it's not bad either. It's
I'll
not
have-
like
I'll say it's close, but and I'm having Max basically help me move the fucked up wagons into a position
Right.
where they sort of create like a little V wall to
Yeah.
at least protect us on one side.
Yeah, you're like 20, 30 feet off of the road. There's like enough of a clearing that you can kind of drag the carts to, and with maybe like a couple of trees that are kind of near each other, and like maybe kind of a medium-sized stone, like not boulder. I don't understand the difference between stone versus boulder, but like like a biggish rock.
There's a good fallen tree we can use as a nice bed.
Yeah, like it's the woods. Like it's easy to be like, oh, there's a fallen tree. There's you're able to get kind of somewhere in the middle of that with the carts kind of dragged in as additional kind of walls would be a good place to, defensive position. You're able to take a long rest. If you want to change out what spells you prep for the next day, you can do that. Polish your fists. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
Ezrin has wraps now. They can
One hand just flips
can-
over and it's a buffing wheel.
Right, Brandon. You gotta polish my weapons.
Yeah, you just sat there polishing your fist for like a whole hour.
It's lotion. I put lotion on them. You gotta take care of your skin.
Your entire body is a weapon.
Right, exactly. I'm taking very serious care of my weapon.
can't have ashy weapons.
Can't have ashy weapons. Exactly.
It's just got like a quart of cocoa butter strips down.
Your skin is so nice. I know. I take care of my skin. This is why it's fantasy, because Calvin doesn't. I'm ashy as fuck. All right, so you get the next day you'll get up, like I said, if you wanted to change any weapon or any spells you want to prep.
I just switched back to the arcane, so I don't have the travel curio now.
Okay. You will continue north. Like it's, once again, I'm not going to have you roll because it's a little less obvious. Like they were sort of trying for like the first like quarter mile and then stopped trying. Essentially, like they're not worried about people following them really. Like that's, so there's a lot more, dragging looking marks and whatever.
Trampled down grasses and
Yeah,
fucked up
exactly.
bracken, yeah.
You will that looks too much stuff in the way. Move to there. Let me, because it is, it'll take you only like probably like 2 hours to get there. And let me reveal areas.
Okay, I was worried. Real 20 was glitching for a second.
Nope. I mean, it's daytime, so I'm trying not to show too much, but but there's a lot you'd be able to see because it's a wide open area. So you're coming from the southern part of the map, so we're for the bridge type thing.
Is that the icon for Mujina's bear?
That's Sable.
Cute.
Do we have an
I don't know if we're
icon
showing the
for
map screen.
Max?
What? Sorry.
Do we have an icon for Max?
You know what? I have a character. He has a character sheet. I just didn't actually give him a.
That's
Okay.
okay. Having the generic "I am just a person" is probably not an inaccurate
Right.
avatar
So,
for
I
Max.
don't know if we're sharing the map at home, so just for anybody watching, Sable's icon basically looks like a robot panda bear, and it's adorable.
Yeah, it does look adorable.
Kind of like if iRobot was a panda.
Yeah, I mean, see, because I don't put the effort into tokens. So they're just boxes. Okay, 1 second. There's a little more that you'd be able to see. You can see, because I mean, it's not like it's. There are people. Like this looks like a fort.
Mhm.
I mean, you can probably see over here too.
Like a pioneer log fort. On the
Pretty
other side
much.
of a little ravine with a bridge.
So, you know, you'll come into view probably like like a half a mile from it. Like you'll be able to kind of see it through the woods. And this is, you know, you come upon it and this is what you'll see. And you'll see that you're probably not actually out of the woods. You're not just fucking standing there, right? You're like, look at us, we're here. Like, it's just, you know, having you on the map so that you can see.
Holy shit, it's New Ulvenwald.
It's not that big of a map, calm down.
It's very
Where's
similar
Aaron and
at the
Aaron?
entrance there.
Aaron and Aaron. Bold of you to assume that I've given any of the NPCs the names. It's Iran and Iran.
First of all,
It's Iran and Enron. All right, so like I said, you come up, you see, this is what you see.
There's Enron, the twins, Johnson and Johnson.
Exactly. Where do you think that the monk gets their lotion from?
God, it's like Fight Club. The lotion is people. It's called Cocoa Butter because that was her name.
All I ever did was care. All right, so what are you thinking? Like I said, you'll be able to. I'm not gonna have you roll because I mean, like I said, you're probably still in the woods.
Ooh. I'd like to find an out of way spot in the woods and hang on, let me make sure I carry on. I gotta make sure I actually have this and it's not a
Okay.
later level thing.
Okay.
Wait.
Does anybody else have any ideas of what they might want to do?
Going over the bridge would be inoptimal.
I'm gonna stop using Sable as a mount in the event that shit goes sideways. I'm not gonna be dragged along.
Vela's immediately going to go over the bridge.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was gonna
Bella.
say I do actually have it. I
Yeah,
could
Vela.
Like she's just not paying attention, just immediately going to go straight. Like there's a bridge, let's go.
because I can cast the 10-minute ritual and basically scout the whole thing using tiny creatures. Like I'll tell Vela this before she starts going. If you wait, I can get some reconnaissance. I can ask the birds and like rats and things, and we can get some information. It will take about an hour though. You got
Okay.
to give them time to, you know, find
It's up
the
to you
info.
guys.
Do you guys want to try that? Do we want to wait the hour or do we want to act now?
Knowing is better than not knowing.
Okay.
I don't want to be shot with arrows.
Cool.
That's
Uh,
why I
so
have
I
gun.
will.
As a
I-
player, I'm going to make a little bit of a to Falcon.
Yeah, they might shoot more than one arrow. All right.
Right.
That's fair.
No, they're just
Uh,
going to shoot only one arrow at Azrin. If they hit, then they can do their deflect missiles thing. That's it. I don't want to, I'm too nice of a GM. I don't want to fuck anybody over.
So I can
Just one.
summon
Just
like
one.
a horde of tiny beasts.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say I call forth probably something like a few rats and some small birds. And I can ask them essentially 3 questions that they will go find answers for.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask them what the layout is. Like, what's the shape of this place? And then I'll ask the rats how many people are in cages or look like essentially something like aren't armed. I'm trying to think how I'd word that for a rat's intelligence. And then how many threatening humanoids are in there,
How many with weapons? How many without?
and what's the layout? Yes.
You're assuming that they can count.
I know it's a long shot, but they will do to their best of their ability. They will try to answer my.
There's
They come back
approximately
with yes or
one
no
rat.
answers.
One rat.
Okay, so what were the questions again?
Layout, prisoners, hostiles, essentially.
Okay. So layout, threats, hostages. Got it.
I need to add that into my skills too. Sight of the tiny.
Okay, so I'm trying to do this without, because I mean I don't know how high they can count. They will get you, because the birds can draw some kind of basic thing, and they will be able to draw you, because it is kind of a basic shape. What the somebody even in there, so it doesn't matter. I can show that off without accidentally revealing it's super secret information.
Super secretive garderobe.
And I mean, it would make total sense for me too, for like these kind of animals counting to be ability to be like 1, a pair, many. These are the only concepts I have for numbers.
Right. So you'll be able to get this design. You should be able to see the outline of it, of the fort. Because I mean, they wouldn't be able to do anything, because there's a lot more intricacy on what the inside.
Yeah.
But it is, you could tell that it is, except for like the towers, it's like an open open middle.
So it's kind of just confirming sort of what I can see from the outside anyway.
Yeah. And then the answers will be many and many.
Okay.
I'll even be nice and say many above, because it's what? It's shape. Was it? No.
Hostiles and prisoners.
So shape, like they'll draw the shape. Many above.
Mhm.
Many below. And then many below.
Okay.
So
It looks like the overall shape is this. The seeds and the acorns represent hostiles of the upper perimeter, I think, and down below, but there's lots of them. And then the prisoners are all in the lower level. That's the little pieces of maple seed and whatever kind of fluff. I don't know what that is. And and I'm just like, thank you, little friends, and I'll scatter some ration pieces for them and send them on their way.
Okay. So during that hour, was anybody else going to do anything?
I was going to ask a question. Would I be able to send my homunculus out with him since it flies? Or does that necessarily have to stay near me?
It does not have to stay near you, but it is obvious that it is not a natural
Yeah,
skull.
it's kind of a cat with wings that it's kind of metallic.
I mean, you could send it around the lower perimeter.
Frank, what
Like-
the fuck is that?
like in the like if you wanted to send it in the forest level, like you did live in the woods, so you're like, yeah, just running around, like flying up on the top. You're like, I've seen tons of birds. It's hard to not see that fucking giant bird flying over the woods, but flying like in the trees, you think, you could send one, maybe probably with whatever's scurrying around or flying, at kind of the ground level if you wanted.
I was trying to get as much info from the homunculus from any location that I could without it being spotted.
Right. Yeah. So you'll be able to send it kind of around the wooded area. You'll get a better view of it. Let me look at this.
Well, there also appears to be a big cliffside off the back as well.
Are you able to see through its eyes, or is that
No, I don't think so.
okay?
Damn it, I should
Roll.
have flying familiar.
Roll a perception check
For
as
the
as the homunculus.
okay, let's see how I do that. Okay, so I have a +4 to perception. How would I do that as my character here?
As the homunculus, you would. Well, if you here, I'll help.
Okay, I'll stop touching shit.
Well, you want to hit the gear so that it closes because if you're essentially, by having the gear open, you're having it in edit mode.
Yeah.
So by
Whole
closing
point's
the
not
gear, it kind of
open.
makes it. It does it, yeah. So I think you can roll. You have perception up. Does it work? Yeah. I'll just say that was its roll. I'll be nice. But if you look at the character sheet for Garasu,
Mm-hmm.
you can just if you go over perception, you can see that it changes from a cursor to a finger, so you can click on it.
Oh wow! Holy shit!
Much like the strength, dex, con, intel, like what the effective saving throws, stuff like that.
Interesting.
Same thing, when you yeah, you will actually it's flying around, because it has a pretty decent fly speed, so it's kind of flying around. It sees the ledge. It's checking stuff out. And then at some point, we'll say probably its second or third pass around, you will notice it doesn't show it on the map because I'm kind of combining two maps. About, once again, it's also not exact because they're not two maps that are supposed to line up with each other. About here-ish, nope, sorry. About, is it shift, click, hold? Yeah. About there. It is a little, yeah, around there. It's 10 squares, so it's probably, here and here. It is, a little overgrown and a little disguised, but there is an obvious cave opening.
Oh,
right there.
Like the fort might extend down into the plateau it's built on.
Type of thing.
I realized I was on mute. Once I get that information from Garasu, I'm going to explain to the party that there's that cave system, to what it looks like at least. We're probably going to have to put some effort into cutting it down, but that's what I'm going to explain to them, as she's more or less grabbing her equipment and going to start heading out that direction.
It's not perfect, but that's the token that I've given it. Damn it. Because it's a flying cat. Getting in the fucking corner of this thing is a pain in the ass. Flying cat.
I had a flying cat once.
God damn it! Now I have to shrink it back. Fucking hell.
We had lots of them growing up. Like if it would mess on the floor, you open the front door and then you have a flying cat for a few seconds.
Okay, so yeah, it's about time to wrap up though. But yeah, you'll see the cave, and I assume you'll, when the drawing of the fort and everything, I assume you'll add in, be like, oh yeah, there's right there. Especially since that was kind of the point of doing it. It wasn't just so that you could be like, I know things, fuck all y'all.
Looks
Although it would
like
be
we're
in character for
going
Vela to
into
be
a
like,
cave.
cool, and then walk off without saying anything. Be like, I'm gonna take the cave. What cave?
She does plan on leaving. She is already walking.
Okay, you guys do that. I'll go to the cave. Bye.
You guys storm the castle. I'm going to get eaten by actual bears.
That might be a good way to assault, especially if the prisoners are down low. We might be able to scoop them out
And then you-
first. And then, we're supposed to rescue them. But
No, you're scooping them out.
we can kill the bandits.
So it looks
All right.
like we are all going to the cave. And probably need to roll some stealth checks.
We'll worry about that next game.
Mhm.
Say, what if we go way over to the east first and then climb down that way? It is
Yeah, it's like this. Obviously, this is a combat map, so there would be a bunch of forest. I mean, they also, they have the normal clearing around, so that there's the kill zone of
like
the fort.
sight lines and whatnot. You don't want somebody 5 feet away from you by the time they're visible.
But yeah, but I mean, you can also see, the people, the guards walking the parapets, as it were. All right, so that's going to be it for this episode. Anything last to Tim before we?
I was gonna say thank you, Tim, for sticking with us.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you enjoying this entire episode, Tim.
Remember, Tim, by the time you realize we're talking to us, make sure you go onto the YouTube page and comment so we know you're
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, Tim. I should actually send one of these to my friend Tim.
I should definitely send this to my friend Tim.
Suddenly there's 30 viewers and they're all named
All Tim. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And now you get to listen to the outro song. And that's the outro song. Yeah.